Alright lads, so today we're going to be showcasing the newly resurrected zombie Toshiro. Yesterday we tried out Nemu, was actually quite impressive for the most part, but today we're here to focus on potentially one of the better resurrections to date with this zombie Toshiro, as some of the skills that he does pick up are quite impressive, I will say. Now for the sake of the showcase, he is going to be T20, level 10 SP, level 10 focus, and also 500 additional SP. So outside of the level 10 attack that I don't have, he's essentially performing like a max transcended character. But going into his resurrection, what exactly did he actually pick up? For starters, when it comes to the soul trait, originally being 12% strong attack recharge, is now that with the addition of when you are at full stamina, 20% more strong attack damage. Once more, really good soul trait, the first of its kind for the mind attribute, and this lets him stand out as one of the better links in the game, which is saying something because the mind attribute has access to some really good soul traits. And that's actually why I went ahead and tried to get him 500 SP for this showcase, just for the aspect of using him as a link, because I definitely will be using this as a link for my future main characters, like 8th Anniversary White, for example. So with this soul trait, he got a damage increase. Going into his innate skill, he got an additional 20% havoc, so he basically has more range now. So we're seeing a damage increase, a range increase, but then most importantly, he is the first character in the game to get the SP boost when it comes to resurrecting. It's only 50% instead of the usual 80% that new characters do get, but still regardless, that's a pretty big damage increase. He doesn't have an increased chance to inflict status wounds, unfortunately, but it might not be too bad. And one thing about this Toshiro too is that he does have a rank killer, so technically when you are up against a rankers, you don't need guard break. He doesn't have guard break, it wasn't invented by the time this character came out, so when he's at least against a rankers, when he has killer, he's going to perform really well. With that said though, let's jump into content and see how he does perform. And for the record, this is the mode that we are using, and these are our links. Alright then, so let's see how it does go. I'm kind of excited for this. Remember, for those that don't know his strong attack kit, his SA1 is a lunge, his SA2 is a lunge, and then his SA3 is a beautiful 1170 in front of him. Look at that, already wiping through its entire wave. We're essentially one-shotting now when we do have the SP boost. His strong attack kit is interesting, to say the least. You know, I remember when the character first came out, and not a lot of people liked the idea of a double lunge, but I think it kind of works out in his favor. Now, in the case of us going against, you know, these particular human enemies, we don't really want lunges, but the range definitely does help us out here. So let's use our SA3 there. That's not too bad. I'm liking this thus far, to be honest. You know, we might as well actually use our sub here. There we go. And then we're into the final stage already. Not too bad. Where at that point, all we have to really do is use one strong attack, and Tsukishima goes down. There we go. Nice and easy. We are, after all, in single-player IT. But remember, we are going against humans. Ideally, in Inheritance Trials, you do want to have killer here. Or at the very least, you want to inflict status wounds constantly. But a 46-second run for our first attempt, honestly, isn't that bad. Let's try that again, though. Can we get faster? Let's find out. So let's use our SA3 there. There we go. That felt a bit better. Unfortunately, did get hit, but we do have poise, so that isn't going to stop us from using our attacks. Let's soul bomb here. No idea that was the smartest thing to do, but we're just going to wing it here. Grab that, though. Can we get back to full stamina? Unfortunately, we cannot. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind about this character too. He does, for the most part, want to stay at full stamina, but doesn't have any ways to stay at full stamina with, you know, built-in healing, for example. So maybe get him some stamina recovery links just to make sure he has an easy time staying at full stamina might be something you want to do, especially in this case when you're up against humans, right? This run definitely wasn't as fast, probably a tad bit slower, but it always feels nice finishing up a quest with that SA3. What was our clear time for that quest? 48, so it weren't too slow. Still somewhat consistent. On attempt number 3, let's see if we can clear potentially faster this time around. After this, we're going to try him out into co-op IT and really test out how good he is. Let's go here, use our SA2 into the 1. We want to make sure we have a strong attack ready when that top hat enemy comes in, because he is the one that's mainly the problem. Like there, for example, we unfortunately got hit. Our DPS just a tad bit, but it's fine, because we should potentially be able to get back up to full stamina here. Let's use our Sovereign there. Grab that with the lunge. We're into the final stage now. Unfortunately, not back up at full stamina, but we're still at least able to one-shot the boss, so it wasn't all too bad. Either way, that was actually still pretty fast. 40-second run. Might be able to get a sub 35 with this character, but let's take him in some of the more harder content, that being a co-op Inheritance Trials. Alright then, so let's see how this does go. Remember, we aren't immune to any status summons here, so we have to be a tad bit careful where we do spawn, and they themselves also have killer against us. So we're going to take it slow. I don't want to push into anything that I don't need to. Let's use our SA2 there, because I know there's that one enemy that can attack us instantly. SA3 here. There we go. Right in front of us too. Not too bad. Decent for our first room. Not too bad, right? I'm not going to lie though. I think I would have maybe preferred if they gave the character an increased chance to inflict status summons instead of maybe Havoc. Maybe do what they did with Yamamoto. But in his case, it would have been a tad bit better because Yama doesn't have the SP boost, right? He only does more damage to burnt enemies. I feel like being able to constantly inflict stat ailments and get the SP boost would have been a tad bit better here. But at the very least, when we do inflict this stat ailment, we're doing like 19k a hit, I think. Let's go ahead and use our SA2. This enemy's coming in close. We're going to use our SA1, back up, then use our SA2, and then finish up with the SA3. Into the third room. Thus far, we haven't gotten hit. We are again trying to play it safe here. We kind of have to. This should inflict a stat ailment. There we go. But this is the boss stage where Aaroniero and Uryu spawn in, so we have to be a tad bit careful here. Let's use our SA3 on these enemies, back up. I believe the bosses have spawned in now. Here we go. SA2 on her. Onto the 1. Back up. Then use our SA3. It did inflict a stat ailment, but not on Aaroniero. We used it on someone else. But when we do inflict a stat ailment, you can see there, we are doing 30k hit. 30k a hit. And we actually can, I forgot, inflict weakening on our SA2. And that kind of helped us out there. You couldn't really see it because we were off screen, but we actually did apply weakening on Uryu. So if we did get hit there, we would have been able to get back up to full stamina from just one healing pot. All right, gonna use my SA3 here. That goes into the bosses. Let's use our SA2. Back up. SA1. Again, looks like we're doing around 30k a hit. Takes a few strong attacks to put down the bosses, but thus far, we haven't gotten hit yet, right? We're doing pretty good. SA3 should finish up on Yukio. It didn't, but the SA1 does. Okay. I think it's because we lost the SP boost there. The question is, though, can we nuke with our sub bomb? I'm going to assume no. So we're going to just do a bit of damage to some of these enemies. SA3 into that stage. Then SA1. Now we should be able to nuke. This should go through. There it is. 40k there. And then we finish up with the SA1. There are a few enemies left, surprisingly, but the SA3 puts them down. So again, very similar to Nemu. It felt quite smooth. We didn't get hit once there. We did play on the slower side, on the safer side, just to make sure we keep our full stamina damage. And we did get a 3-minute clear time. So again, very similar to Nemu, right? Nemu got around a 3-minute clear time. This is something that you realistically only really want to do if you have the character max transcended, max duped out, because otherwise they're not really going to be able to compete with some of the newer characters. When he does have Killer, that being a Roncom, I think the clear time is going to be a lot more impressive. Since at that point he doesn't need to break guard, and he also does have Killer. In a normal situation, when going against Carp IT, you don't want to use someone that doesn't have Killer advantage. Because at that point, you're losing on a lot of DPS, and if the character naturally doesn't have a built-in really high DPS, or at the very least can inflict stat ailments constantly, then they're going to get a clear time like this. But nonetheless, we were able to beat it at a decent pace. Next up, though, let's take him into IZ since Epic Raids currently isn't available. I want to also just do a quick damage test on what the numbers are looking like when we're not going against enemies with Iron Skin, for example, right? So in this case, if we use our SA3, looks like we're doing 35k a hit. That's when we do have Killer, though. Keep that in mind. I'm then going to go here and use my Sub Bomb just to inflict the stat ailment, because it is going to be kind of tough against these enemies since we are essentially one-shotting them. I think in that case, we hit around 53k. Let's just double check. 48k there with the Killer effect. That's actually really good. So yeah, damage-wise, it looks quite good when we are going against enemies without Iron Skin and when we have Killer. So again, like mentioned, if we go against an Aranka IT, he can be quite good there, since at that point, to a certain extent, the lack of guard break really wouldn't hold him back that much. And of course, he'd also be getting around 60% more damage thanks to the Killer effect. But with that said, lads, that was the video for today, trying out the new Resurrected Zombie Toshiro. Overall, again, a very solid upgrade. You definitely can't complain about it. He picked up a really good soul trait, one of the best in the mind attribute now. He got a pretty big damage increase with his 20% Berserker, and now when you do inflict a stat ailment, you get a 50% SP boost, and then of course the range aspect also got increased, pick up an additional 20% more range on every single strong attack. Overall, very solid upgrades, and this is again getting me even more excited to see what future upgrades will hold if characters are now getting SP boost, for example. It can only get better, so I'm looking forward to the next set of resurrections, at least 1000-year Blood War resurrection. We've yet to see what a normal resurrection will look like. As of late, we've been getting some really good high-profile ones, 1000-year Blood War anniversary. In 2 weeks' time, we should be potentially getting a swimsuit resurrection, and we might go back to the usual same old boring resurrections. But when it matters, when it comes to anniversary and limited stuff like 1000-year Blood War, they're definitely improving, which is something that I'm always happy to see. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the comments below, let me know what you love to think about this character's resurrection, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.